Hi, this is Sonia from An Enthusiastic Reader. Today I am doing a tag video. This is the New Year's tag, and I was tagged by Hannah Reeds. Thank you, Hannah. I printed out all the questions and my answers, so let's go ahead and get started. Number one, how many books are you planning to read in 2020? As a general rule, I read between 50 and 70 books a year. I think in 2019, I read 72 books, which was a really good year for me. I have friends who think I just read constantly, and I would read in the hundreds, like a lot of people on BookTube. But that range of 50 to 70 books lets me read really long books, and it's not like it's a goal, but I like that range. I get pretty tired at night. It's really hard for me to read past 9 o'clock. So I have to do most of my reading during the daylight hours. I don't set Goodreads goals. I just always get great pleasure in never setting a goal there. And then I'm never stressed out about not reaching that goal. It just, whatever happens, happens. Name 5 books you didn't get to in 2019 that you would like to make a priority in 2020. So I have my number one on my list for this prompt is Milkman by Anna Burns. I still haven't had a chance to get started on that, but that's definitely on my I have to read this in 2020 book. Then I have a few NYRB classics. I have A View of the Harbor by Elizabeth Taylor, The Siege of Krishnapur by J.G. Farrell. I have Olive Again by Elizabeth Strout. And the last one on my list is The River by Peter Heller. My mom and I were doing a driving trip in July, and we started listening to the audiobook of The River, and it was really pulling me in. And then for some reason, it hadn't all downloaded, and we didn't have internet access, so we had to quit listening to it right in the middle. My mom has finished reading it since then, and she keeps asking me, have you read The River? And I keep saying no. So that's definitely on my list for 2020. What genre do you want to read more of in 2020? Well, number one, I always want to read more literary fiction. That's my number one genre that I turn to almost all the time. I'd like to read some more mysteries and keep working on the series that I've started and maybe start a few new series. And I'd also like to read a little bit more nonfiction this year. Name 3 non-book related goals you have for 2020. I came up with 5. I, for some reason, thought I had to come up with 5, so I'm going to give you all 5 right now. Number 1 is I'd like to step up my video editing skills. I'd like to streamline my workflow for getting the videos, getting them imported, doing all the things that should be done to make them better. And to start this process yesterday, I started watching tutorials for Premiere Pro, Adobe, because I have the Adobe Suite. I have access to all of the applications in the Adobe Suite. So why shouldn't I be using that instead of using Premiere Elements, which is the more commercial or the more consumer level product, when I do have a pretty good grasp on how all the Adobe programs, at least in terms of design and layout and Photoshop, all work together. And apparently you can create titles in Illustrator and just pull in the Illustrator file without exporting to an image file. And it's pretty technical, but I know how to do a lot of that stuff. So why aren't I doing that and making my videos a little bit more just creative and look better and sound better? So that's my number 1 goal. I'd like to do some writing. I don't know what, if it's blog posts, reviews, maybe work on a short story, maybe write an essay. I don't know, but I want to write something in 2020. I'd like to make my patio really pretty this spring and summer. I didn't really pay that much attention to what was happening last summer. I did some traveling, and this year I really want to make the outdoors really nice, a nice place to hang out. I want to dramatically purge junk, especially from my closet. I'd like to go through all the closets in the house and just start, tossing things out or repurposing them or giving them away and just kind of making things feel lighter. And the last thing I'd like to do, which kind of relates back to the first prompt about making my video editing process better. It's just making my content better, thinking it through, not just winging it on the videos like I do sometimes, and then I have a brain freeze and I can't think of what I wanted to say. Then I feel like I'm rushing, and there are so many people who do such a great job of really thinking through the process before they film, and I would like to do that too. What's a book you've had forever that you still need to read? And I started looking at my Kindle library yesterday, and I was just kind of shocked and appalled at how many books I have just squirreled away in this digital oasis or hellscape, if you'd like to see it that way. I have so many books, but one I'd like to read is Memory of Lost Skin by Russell Banks. I've never read a Russell Banks novel. I've seen a couple of movies based on his books, but I've never read a book by him. So I have that one. I've paid for it. I should probably read it sometime. I do plan to do a video in the near future about the creeping around the vault of my Kindle library and what's in there, what I've read that I've liked, and what's still lurking. Number 6, one word that you're hoping 2020 will be. And I was talking with Hannah on her video about this one word distillation of what I want the year to be. And my bar is incredibly low for an improvement on any recent previous year. So I just came up with a word for right now. It doesn't necessarily hold through all the way through 2020, but palatable. Can we just get a little better? Can we please raise the level of discourse? Can we please, change something? So that's my word. I'm sticking to it for now. Ask me again in about 3 months and maybe it will be different, I hope. Okay, the last thing to do for this is to tag people. And so I'm going to tag 3 people. If you don't want to do it, it's fine, no pressure. I just been thinking of you and I wanted to kind of shout you out. And that's Marian Ryan and Sharon Goforth, haven't seen her for a little bit, and Leo of A Little Book Life. So if you want to do this tag, it's a fun tag. It's quick, it's easy, and it kind of makes you think a little bit about what's coming up in the next 12 months. So that's all I have for now. I will see you in the next video. Bye.